Well, I'm pretty sure you're all aware of the new Pokemon Sun and Moon trailer that was recently released, showcasing the starters, legendaries, the new region, and so much more. I did not expect to see that much information in just the first trailer, but hey, I'm not complaining. I am sure there are tons of videos out there covering every aspect of it, but I stumbled upon something that I think is worth mentioning, and that is the possible third legendary in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Well, we all know that Gamefreak can be very unpredictable, and I mean very. Most of us were expecting Pokemon Z because it seems to be the most logical answer to the next Pokemon game, and instead we're jumping straight into Generation 7. But how do we expect Pokemon Z to become the obvious answer? Well, most of us tend to look for patterns, and based on that we make logical assumptions. From Gen 1 through 4, we received main series games in pairs, and also a third sister game which was an improved version of the original two games, like Platinum and Emerald. When Gen 5 made its appearance, most of us were expecting Pokemon Gray, and then we got hit by these. The point is that Game Freak can throw anything at us. Another aspect that helps support the case of a third game has been the existence of a third legendary that is related somehow to the original two, starting from Generation 3. Pokemon like Rayquaza and Giratina, Kyurem, and most recently Zygarde. So with the reveal of the two new legendaries, I am almost certain there's going to be a third one related to them. But the question is, what could possibly this mysterious Pokemon be? For that, we need to take a look at all the patterns that Game Freak tends to follow. When it comes to legendary trios, Game Freak tends to take inspiration from real myths that are part of our culture. For example, the legendary trio from Generation 3 are based on Hebrew legends of Ziz, Behemoth, and the Leviathan respectively. Generation 6 legendary trio takes inspiration from Norse mythology, and so on. There are tons of videos that cover mythological origins of many Pokemon, so I'm not gonna go too much into detail. The point that I'm trying to make is that it's most likely that the new legendaries have some real base lore behind them, and well, I think I might have found a legend that would fit perfectly. At this point, we know that the new region is going to be based on Hawaii, and this beautiful place is full of interesting legends and myths. The one that I'm going to be focusing on today is how they believe creation took place. So grab your chips or popcorns because the connections are going to start to blow your mind. In the beginning in Hawaiian mythology, Po was a vast empty land, a dark abyss where only one life form dwelled. This was the spirit of Keowe. A single light shone through the darkness of Po, a flame holding the energy of creation. In this chaotic vortex, Keowe evolved order. He opened his great calabash and flung the lid into the air. As it unfolded, it became the huge canopy of the blue sky. From his calabash, Keowe drew an orange disc, hanging it from the sky to become the sun. From this, we understand that the one and only spirit that existed, known as Keowe, is responsible for the creation of everything. What is really interesting is what happens next, because the spirit divides himself into two parts. Next, Keowe manifested himself as Nawaine, a female divinity considered his daughter. In addition, he became Cain, his own son. These two manifestations, I believe, are the legendaries portrayed in the new Pokemon Sun and Moon games. If Solgaleo and Lunala are the official names, Cain represents the Sun legendary and Nawaine the Moon legendary. I say this because if we look into both Cain and Nawaine, you will find this, quote, Cain is the primordial lord of the sun, and also appears in many different aspects which are personifications of natural phenomena such as Kane he Kile, end quote. Then, quote, Keowe's first daughter is also worshipped as Malama, the goddess of the moon. If my speculation is correct, then it is obvious the third legendary is going to be none other than Keowe himself. However, this is going to be a lot more difficult to portray, since unlike Gen 3 or 6 where they're taking inspiration from mythical beasts, instead, in this case, these are spirits that do not have any form. So Game Freak decided to use animals that have connection in mythology to the moon and the sun. This is why a lion and a bat fit pretty well, based on popular myths such as the Leo constellation relating to the sun. So in my quest to unravel what this third legendary could look like, I started reviewing the patterns over and over again when I came across this thought. If Pokemon was to come back to the old pattern of creating a third sister game like I talked about in the beginning of this video, what would be the most logical one? Well, if one is based on the sun and the other one on the moon, Pokemon Eclipse just come to mind. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this is a plausible game title. If that is the case, what creature can represent an eclipse? Well, there are many legends that explain how an eclipse takes place, such as the Native Americans believing that a bear bites the sun or the moon to create an eclipse, or how the Vietnamese believe in a giant frog that swallowed the sun and the moon. But in reality, if you think about it, an eclipse is nothing more than the moon and the sun coming together. And if both Cain and Hawaiian were once a single spirit, the combination of a lion and a bat can be portrayed with a mythical creature known as the Manticore. So where are my Monster Hunter fans, right? Am I right? Up top. Oh my god, wait, wrong character. Let's go back to Pokemon. A Manticore is a legendary creature from Persian mythology. There are different descriptions of what this creature looks like. It may have a human head, wings, or not, the tail of a scorpion or a dragon. But what remains consistent is the body of a lion. Most artists' takes on this creature like to show a lion with bat wings and a scorpion tail. But to keep it more simplistic, we decided to use a mix of a lion with a bat. And I said we because I asked a buddy of mine who is an artist to create a Pokemon based on this legendary creature. But what better way than having him present it to you? Take it away, man.
Selby approached me asking if I could make this dope-ass third legendary based off of what he's been talking about. After going over it and doing a little digging myself, though the Manticore idea was his, I decided that having a maneless lion would work well. Not only since it differentiates it from Solgaleo, but also based on the legend that the sun was drawn and not a feature that derived from Kawe. On its front legs it has two gemstones that resemble the heads of Lunala and Solgaleo. On one hand it's just a nod to the third legendary being their creator, but I also like to think of a bit of a nod to the right and left hands of God, because God being a creator, Kawe being creator, it fits, I think. Some aspects of the design make some reference to the Pokemon god Arceus. In case you couldn't tell, I might have taken the relation between an almighty creator and god a bit far. As for colour, I primarily stuck with white and gold with the blue, head and gems to stick with the theme set by Lunala and Solgaleo. As for its golden shine on its silver coat, I just thought it was a neat touch. Having a golden shine peeking through the coat of silver, it's similar to an eclipse. I tried to keep the palette fairly simple with around 5 colours in total, since most Pokemon have very simple and distinct colour palettes. The most complex colour palette I could find on a Pokemon was around 5 colours. Oh, and before I go, I'm Jordan. I draw things. That is an introduction at the end of my segment. Mixing it up. It's fantastic. You can cut this out. Please cut this out. Please? Oh no.
Well, that is Jordan for you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thanks so much to him because without his help, I could have not brought my idea for the legendary Pokemon to life. So I'm going to be leaving all the links to his pages if you want to check out more of his work in the description below. With that out of the way, we have come to the end of this speculation video. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and it would be awesome to support us both by sharing and liking the video. We worked really hard on this. On top of that, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of my Patreons, which I'm showing their names on the screen right now. You guys rock. For you guys to go to that level of support, it just goes beyond my expectations. Everyone that supports the channel one way or another just gives me the motivation to continue my quest on making this my dream job. And all of you are bringing me a step closer. Really guys, thank you so much. There's no words to express how thankful I am. I'll keep working harder and improve to keep you guys entertained. Well, I said too much now. I don't want to get too sentimental. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Pokemon fans.